Can a guy with no cinematic video shooting experience at all shoot a cinematic video commercial on his Canon M50 and make it look great, good, acceptable? Well, I got out my Canon M50 and decided, let's give it a shot. You want to see what happened? I'm going to show you in a sec. Okay, so here we are. I love my Canon M50 and I decided, what the heck? Let me try to make something that looks amazing with no experience except for watching a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do stuff like this. Here's the result. Okay, not bad, right? Not bad. I kind of dig it. And as you can see, like, so much of it was in the post-production. And, I have a lot of experience editing, less experience shooting. And there was all sorts of stuff that I learned during the way that I think that you are going to learn from if you're in a similar position to me, like you haven't shot stuff a lot. The first thing that I can say is that I do wish that I'd done more planning about which specific backgrounds and locations I was going to shoot things in. You saw that I ended up shooting a lot of stuff on my kitchen table. It's like a nice wooden kitchen table, but I was sort of at the behest of these other elements instead of being in a position where I could really control what the background was. And so there was some day stuff, some night stuff. There was a window there. I had the blind shut, but it's still like, it changed the lighting a little bit. And so it ended up changing things a lot. So if I had to do that again, I might have constructed more of, I guess, a controlled environment to shoot this in so that I wasn't necessarily at the behest of all of these different things. The second thing is, I kind of wish that I'd done a little bit more research ahead of time on frame rate. So I shot the whole thing in 60 FPS, and except the super slow-mos are in 120 FPS. And I did that so that when I put it on the 24 FPS timeline at the end, I would have more flexibility in speeding up and slowing down the videos. But when I actually got it onto the timeline, I did actually manage to figure it out. And I'm sure you saw it in some of these pieces where I was able to really manipulate the speed well. But I found it more difficult, and it kind of got me thinking that I did something a little bit wrong. So it was very hard for me to sort of figure out what I was doing there. But I learned a ton. So here is how I got this first started as an idea. First things that I want to do is storyboard this sucker. I think. I don't have a lot of experience with this, which sounds crazy because I used to run these huge video programs at New York Magazine and Insider and now this. And I'm the social video guy. I'm the editorial writer dude. So digging into storyboarding is fun. So what I'm doing now is I had this idea in my head overnight and I put it on a voice memo. It was about 10:30 at night, so let's see how this sounds.
These drum beats, like... So it's almost like going to war, right? And there's like a little bit of the sort of Japanese vibe. So we have every time that the drum beat sounds, we get a flash of the knife with B-roll. Cross.
I think I was kind of tired. So I found out about this site called Studio Binder, and I made my shot list in it. So take a look here. So basically the way that it works is I just went and planned it out. I listened to my voice memo that I made, and then I went and just sort of planned out like where everything can go. And I'm feeling pretty good about this. And I think at the end of the day, it ended up there was like a lot of repetition. So instead of like planning it out shot by shot by shot by shot by shot, I ended up saying, okay, well, here's what we're going to do with the knife. We're going to have like a couple of different shot, like vegetables and fruits that I'll cut through, and then just make sure that I'm getting medium close-ups, extreme close-ups, and like overhead shots of them. So then it came to actually shooting this thing, and actually shooting it was kind of hard to get into at first. I made the storyboard and I had the shot list, but then I was kind of like, where am I gonna go then? So the first thing that I did, as you'll see here, is I got out my gimbal. All right, so I've got my gimbal here, getting ready to rock it out. This is a DJI SC something, can't remember. Ronin, I think it's just the DJI Ronin SC, yeah. And so I've got this sucker here, and we're gonna go put it inside this light box, which has a black background. It looks a little gray with all this light. Might want to turn the lighting down. And then we're gonna shoot some stuff. Lens on here, Canon 22mm lens, pancake lens, prime lens, f-stop 2.0. So everything should look fantastic. It has like about something like a 6-inch distance to focus distance, so that's cool. So right now here I'm just trying to get the lighting right to get this sorted. I'm liking what it's looking like here as far as the color, and so I just need to get it going, and then I'm going to take some sort of long pan shots, because that's the first thing that we see when we open this sucker up. That is pretty much it for the first two sequences. The next one on the storyboard, I need to do this move where I'm spinning the knife and on its tip, so it goes and then clangs down to the table or whatever it is. Okay, then we have to get to the chopping stuff. And so you're gonna see my wife here really helping us get into the chopping. And I really struggled here, like, do I want this overhead shot? What do I want? I knew I wanted those drum beats, and so I wanted to like really like slam the knife, right? You know, like, so the knife hits on a drum beat to sort of break it up, but I hadn't chosen the music yet. I was just sort of assuming that I would be able to find the music in post. So I was sort of guessing. So my goal was to take these three things, cabbage, apple, and an onion, and cut them or film them being cut in a few different ways. We have like the top down, like cut. We have the side shot cutting, and then like sort of one like low angle shot that like really digs into it. Nice.
That was awesome.
Nice. Editing was actually much harder than I thought it would be, because when I got the footage in, it looked good, but it didn't have an aesthetic to it. I was going for this sort of Japanese going to war type thing. And I knew at the end of the day that meant that the footage was gonna be kind of dark. What I found myself ending up doing was putting LUTs or aesthetic looks on each of these through color correction, regular than standard color correction. So I would go in and really take, I wouldn't take the exposure down, but I would really crush those blacks, and I would create a vignette. You can see that the outside is super vignetted. I would create a vignette on the outside so that it really just had that sort of premium but dark. There's almost a secret going on here, right? There's something a little bit primal, warrior-like about this. So that was kind of where I wanted to go. And as I went through it, I found myself just darkening the heck out of every single one of these clips to achieve that aesthetic. I think what I've learned here is if I had to do this over again, what I would have done is I would have done more of this in pre-production. Again, by controlling the environment more and using different settings on my camera to sort of take that lighting and brightness the way that I want it to be right from the shooting phase, instead of having to do it all in post. That's where I sort of got a little messed up there. I'm trying to get this matched action going on this thing falling here. But generally, like, since it's like daylight in the back, I'm not like in love with it, but like I think it's generally going, it looks really good. All right, so here I am I'm finishing this thing up. It's looking pretty good. I was doing the color correcting while it was going on, so I'm feeling good about it. Timing it to the music. Some of it isn't perfect, and I really wish that I'd gotten that, like I'd shot it against a controlled background, but I think it's coming out pretty good. I've never made anything close to this. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I would love to have you as a subscriber. You've got that button below. I'm hoping to turn this into a series, so there will be more videos like this. I'm gonna find more of my clients and try to find cool ways of making cinematic videos with different aesthetics and different types of looks and feels. And I'm really excited to see how much I get better by just simply doing it and learning from my mistakes. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.